All right, so today is week 5, day 1, and I just wanted to pause a second because I just want to talk about one of the major struggles that I've had with coding. So, if you've made it this far, if you're checking out the video for the first time or just kind of stumbled upon this, basically I'm trying to teach myself how to code using To-Do app as a project. I started to with the idea of that I borrowed from someone else. To be honest, I can't remember what the name of the course was, but it was a course that I took, and it seemed really helpful. I never finished it, unfortunately, but it was cool. It was like starting from a version one and iterating over the to-do list app to, add more concepts. So it started basically with just a console log uh, and an array, and just learning how to add things to an array, add strings to an array, and then that was the to-do list, which is basically the array. Learning how to push and pop things off of an array, um, and that seemed really interesting. I got it, a couple weeks in, and then I got distracted. I tried to find it again, and I couldn't find it. And I think I did find it, but then it was not available anymore, and it was it was expensive. I thought to myself, I could recreate this, especially using something like ChatGPT or AI. I could have it kind of plan a course, and um, I would complete the course. I would record myself completing the course, and then I could kind of go back over it and keep refining it and, basically learn by making these projects, starting with just like a outline of the things I was going to do. I was going to look up the concepts as I went. And that was working and it was going really well. But today, it's Saturday. Um, it's not important to the story, but basically, I work a 9 to 5, and then I have some time before and after work. I've been able to do a pretty good job of doing that. Yesterday, I don't think I published anything or posted anything. It was like one of the first days in a couple of weeks that I didn't. So it was kind of like a break in the habit. And then today I woke up early. I went to bed early last night. I had the intention to come and get started, and woke up at 5:30 or so, got over here to the computer at 6. And then basically I've just been watching YouTube videos for about 3.5 hours. I looked at the code a little bit. I looked at the outline a little bit. I think I'm ready to get started, but it just took me forever. And so this is one of the things that happens with me is just like I have just a procrastination. Like as soon as I start thinking about this, I'm like wanting to escape. And so, and the escape just comes in the form of opening up YouTube, scrolling through YouTube, clicking on a video, watching a video for 15, 20 minutes, realizing I'm completely distracted, trying to get back into it, opening up some tabs, looking at news. Just like I find myself winding around in this infinite circle of distraction. And I think at the end of the day, I'm kind of scared to finish this. And also, I don't really know. The weeks before this, I had quite a bit of experience with the basics of coding, what a function is, what a variable is, declaring variables, things like that. But now starting to get into an area that I guess I consider kind of more like real programming or a real app design or web development, where we're starting to organize the application. Things are becoming kind of technical and interconnected, and like I'm having trouble with my brain, like thinking like, what's the right? Am I doing it right? Am I doing it right? And before I wasn't all that concerned about if I was doing it right or not. I figured I wasn't really doing it right. But now we're moving into this, and I'll find myself wanting to make sure everything is right. And also with me recording this, I'm just I guess I'm feeling like a fraud. I'm feeling like a fake or a failure. Like I don't really know why. Like I have these thoughts like, what am I doing trying to create this course? I don't even know how to program. Here I am trying to teach people. Had this idea. It was stupid. It's dumb. This is a waste of time. Something like that, right? You should be doing something else. You should focus on your job and just grin and bear it, that kind of thing. But the thing is, I hate my job, and my mind is just stuck on this thing because it was something I wanted to do when I was young, but I made bad choices. I never did it. I started it many times and I never did it, and I just keep going back to it. And I feel like there's no way I can ever move beyond it unless I do it, because I'm always going to think that I should have done it. So, um, with that said, I'm just going to get started and we'll see where it goes. So it's week 5, JavaScript, day 1, and what we're trying to do now is we want to rework the application, the app as MVC. Okay, so what that means is model view controller. So want to think about it. I think there are a few analogies. One of them was model, and so basically we want to know that model is working with the data, and the view is basically the screen, the output, display, however you want to say it, and then the controller is kind of the mediator between the two. So the way that it was relayed was it was pretty interesting. Let's see if I can remember it. There's a couple of analogies. I think one was like the chef analogy. Maybe the model was the kitchen, and um, the view was the front of the house, and then, or the table, and then the controller was kind of the waiter. That's not the one that made the most sense to me, but now I can't really think of it. What was it? I guess that was it. Kitchen with the data, view, the dining room presentation, the controller, the waiter. Um, so that kind of makes sense. There were some other analogies, but I think obviously that was the one I remembered. So I think the other one was like the model is your brain, and the screen is your eyes, and then your hands are kind of the controllers or something like that. I'm not really. So what we want to do is basically we're going to split to do app into 3 objects. Okay, we're going to have to do model. We're going to have to do view. We're going to have to do controller. All right. And then so inside of the controller, that's going to be where we are going to connect the screen. Is basically connect the event scenes. In the view, this is where we're going to access the model to display data. Model is going to be where we update the local storage in this case. Add, move, edit the data. Controller is basically going to take the inputs from the view and going to send the info to the model, and then we're going to tell the view to render. So this is basically what we're trying to accomplish. And excuse me, how rude. So now we've got this to-do app. So let's just get started and we'll pull stuff into it. I guess my fear is that, oh, we're going to break everything. But, I have been hanging. I'm in the wrong place. I'm going to copy all of this stuff. I need to add it to my week. And then I need to replace all this stuff here. I've accidentally edited the wrong thing. So let's just close all this. Make sure we've got the right stuff open. Okay. So now we kind of have the right stuff open. I haven't really been doing this, but 5, day 1. VC. Let's start. That's basically what we're doing. So we should have, says we got a live server going. So let's just refresh this. And week 5, day 1. Great. So now I've broken this. Let's look at our console. App. View. Source. Interesting. All right, so okay. That should do it. I'm not sure. I guess I deleted something there. I had a had a wasn't closing my title tab. All right, so now we've got to stay focused. Now we have to make some big changes. We don't really have to make the big changes right now, but let's go ahead and create our new. Do we say const? Let's try it. I don't think our objects are ever going to change, but maybe they need to. I know people don't really use var very much, but when we're declaring them, I mean, we don't want it to change. I think when it's an object, it can change. The object can change, but it can't go from an object to something else. So let's just start with const, and we're going to say const, and we say we're going to make to do model, and that's going to equal an object. For now, we're just going to console log and we're going to say this is a to-do model object. It doesn't look like we can do that, so we need some type of function, I guess. Um, how do we do that? I mean, I think we declared some things like this to do app. Did we say just like something like this, info? Okay, right? And then we have the do model dot info, the do model dot info. So we don't really need that to be function. We can just say info is this. Now it is just like a parameter. The do model, the do model dot info. And it's a new model object. Okay. So basically, let's just start with that. Start with that. Keep going. Keep getting this stuff onto the page. I'm really going slowly here, but there's no reason to go slowly. We want to have a view. Same thing. I'm going to use info right now just to put something in here. I say this. Here's the to-do view object. And we're going to have const to-do controller. We already have a to-do control somewhere. Why did that come up? So wants to do controller. Info. This is the to-do controller object. All right. So now, I mean, what's going to go in the model? Let's move this whole thing above here. We're going to say that this is the to-do object. It's kind of outside of our stuff right now. This is going to be the to-do model. This is going to be our view. This is going to be our to-do follow. Okay. No. Oh, need all of this. Here. So to do app, I mean, the to-dos are going to go inside of our do's are going to go inside of the model. Right? Add to do. That needs to go. Add to do. Delete to do. As add to do. Save to do. Retrieve to do's. That all needs to go into the model. Those are all functions that are doing, methods that are doing stuff with the data. Show to do's. That's going to have to do with the view. Clear all to-dos. Clear all to-do. That is the model. Clear complete to-dos. Well, I mean, your complete to-dos, we're saying that's part of the. Now, we've got toggle complete. So toggle complete actually don't want this show to-dos to be in here. Make toggle complete. I think this is going to be inside of our model. And then so now we don't have that anymore. And we've got all of these functions now are going to go into our controller. But we've got to rewrite them as functions. We not need to have that. Then so right? So guess for this stuff, like, I feel like we need to ask, like, how to set up a controller for it to do app in JavaScript. Setting up a controller object for a to-do app, particularly in a client-side application, involves creating a JavaScript object, handles user interactions, and manages the flow between the application's data model and its display view. Here's how to structure a basic controller object. Define the controller object, class to-do, constructor, um, is the constructor that the function in JavaScript. When was the constructor function in JavaScript? All right, so it's always been a part of it. I guess when we start to use ES6, the class syntax was it. All right, so we're going to use a constructor function, model view. This model equals model, this view equals view, this init. All right, well, kind of just showing us the code. I don't know how helpful it is, but let's kind of walk through it. We don't really have a render yet. Render to do's basically just does the output. So how do we do that in ours? We got to do view. This show to do is really would be render. It looks like we don't have to do this whole thing. It looks like we can just do this as the function. And really, show to do's really is what they're calling render. I'm just going to keep using show to do's for now. Get this working, and then we can place everything with render. It looks like this. Where is our to-do list element? This dot to-do list element. Hmm. All right. Do at retrieve to do. So we're going to have to do that inside of our controller. Oh. Oh. Hmm. So uh, all right. So I guess what is it that's actually confusing me? And what would be the right thing to do? I mean, because it's all the code's right here, but I don't think I'm going to learn this by just looking at this and, oh, this is what I need to do, going back. Because that's kind of what I've done in the past. Um, what I need to understand, I guess, is this init bit here. So we've got the model, the view, and then we init. What does init do? So first we render the to-dos. I think we have to retrieve the to-dos, render the to-dos, and then inside of init, we add all of the event listeners and we run init. I'll see how we can do. So for now, retrieve to-dos, that's going to go in our to-do controller. We're going to add an init. Init. We said that we were going to have a model. Do model. We're going to have a view. Do view. We're going to init, and we said inside of the init, we want to retrieve the to-dos. This is no longer to-do app, though. This is this model retrieve to-dos. And then we want to say this view show to-do. Okay. Then we need to add in all of our buttons. Say this is going to be select UI elements. Okay. To-do list, this stuff I don't need. That's just a console log, and then the show is we actually kind of wrote it in. So we jumped the gun there. Add to-do button, event listener. Add to-do button, event listener. Click. All of these event listeners need to go in here and init. That's so weird. So we have yellow on the outline. Then we have a, oh, that's right. This is right. Okay. So let's see. And it is up here. Up the controller and it. Got the yellow down here. All right. All right. So let's clean this up a little bit. All right. So we've got everything looking pretty good. Let's see. So we've got model equals to do model. Got view equals to do view. This little info thing was just for our purposes. We're going to leave it in for now. We've got init. We're going to run init at the bottom. Our app basically is going to start with this was just an idea to do. Our app actually is going to start with to do controller dot init, run init. It is going to this model retrieve to dos. Let's look at retrieve to do. Okay, so we've determined we should be able to just do this info. to-dos are saying to-dos. Saying add to-do. Added like this. And worry about that later. Retrieve to-dos. Let's save data equals local storage dot get item this dot to-dos. Should work. And we save the to-dos. Okay. So do view. Do list element. So it's no longer this to-dos. To-dos, render to-do. Show to-dos. Now it needs to take a list of to-dos. And we're going to remove to-dos. And remove this from to-dos. And when we init, we need to pass the to-dos. This dot model dot to-dos. Okay. So what I'm doing now is I'm just looking through this and seeing are there any other references. And I don't think so. That's pretty much self-contained. So down here, I think now we're looking for stuff like add to where are we getting add to do input dot right? That's up here. So we're looking at the input and we're trimming it. Well, that seems normal and reasonable. Handle clear all to-dos. So handle clear all to-dos. I guess as these need to come up here before the end. is going to say to do app, clear all to do's. This is going to be model. And then this is going to be view. This is going to be this model view. We need all these handle things now. These are handle things are starting to feel less necessary. Uh, we need to say, okay, so this is inside of the note. I guess I need to say this and all to do's. I think I might be losing. All right, so something that can happen is you can lose this. I think I might be losing this. Because this is going to reference, because I'm here, I'm inside of this init function. So this is going to be this. So I think I need this to store this as self. What's happening in our controller? This view render. What's happening in the inlet? Maybe not. This model to do. So we're inside of init here. I don't know, maybe we just give it a shot. All right. Gonna save this. I'm sure we have some errors. Let's just keep looking through here. This. this dot handle add to do. Okay, if list item, what's happening here? If the target do item, do app. So this should be model. This dot model. All right, well, let's give it a whirl. We've got something here. It didn't, I'm noticing it didn't render in child. Okay, this to do this. Not read properties of undefined. There is this to do list element. Okay. Well, we completely fucked it up. So this, I think this is probably good, but it doesn't really feel good, and that's okay. So cannot read properties of undefined. To do this to-do list element is undefined. We've got to-do list element. Well, we got to do something, right? We can't just sit here and stare at it. But that's kind of like what I'm feeling. Feeling kind of stuck and kind of blank. So we got to fix this. This to-do list element. This to-do list element. Okay. So we got to-do list element, and we're saying here, let's console log it. Console.log show to-dos to-do list element. Okay. And then here, let's say this to or each to this. All right. Oops. Show to-dos. So we've got the to-do list here in the for each to-do. We're losing it. So we need to set this to-do list element to something. So up here, because we're going to lose it, to-do list element. This to-do list element. We want to say this to-do list element equals this. We're going to say const to-do list element. What's a better name for the to-do list elements? So inside of this, let's think of something generic. To-do list view. To-do list element view equals this to-do list element. And then we're going to say this equals that, and then down here where we get the to-do list element, see how it looks. All right, so now we've got it here. The to-do list element works. To-do list element. We're rendering our to-dos. That's a big step. So we've been going for an hour and 15. This is kind of what I do, but I did want to split this up. This is going to be day 1, part 1. I'm going to get a refill on 2. I'm going to come back and we're going to fix all of this stuff where we're starting to lose our this reference. It seems to be the case where we're having a lot of this, but we were able to fix it. We're able to track it down, so I think that's a win. So chase your dreams today. Stay dedicated, stay focused, stay passionate. If this is something that you really want to do, you got to keep going. You know, sometimes you need to take a break. You need to get some tea. Try to avoid that thing. And this is what's happening to me. So this is me talking to myself. Try to avoid that situation where you're afraid of failure and you start to doom scroll, I think is like the word for it these days. So start to doom scroll, start to mindlessly get caught in the technological loop of distraction. You know, your Twitter, your Facebook, your YouTube, and stay focused on your dreams, your goal, yourself. It's okay to fail. This is how we're going to learn, and we'll keep going after we get some hot water.